Over the past 9 years, I've coached over 800 men and women through losing their belly fat, helping them get a body where they can walk around confident without adding this boatload of pressure and time on their already busy schedules. So if you're a busy professional, entrepreneur, or executive with belly fat, watch this video because I'm sharing everything that I've learned about belly fat in these past 9 years. Tip number 1, you need to be in a calorie deficit. You cannot lose belly fat or any kind of fat without being in a deficit. Period. And that's not a theory, it's a biological, mathematical, and scientific fact that your calorie intake must be lower than your calorie output. Doesn't matter what diet you follow, whether it's carnivore, paleo, vegan, or whatever. If you're not in a deficit, the belly's going nowhere. You also need to understand that eating clean isn't the same as eating for fat loss. If you're eating a 100% whole food, natural, and organic diet, but you're still eating too many calories, you'll also lose zero fat. On the flip side, you could eat a diet consisting of junk, even a little pizza and ice cream, and still lose fat if you're in a deficit. Once you accept this truth, everything else becomes easier. Bringing me to tip number 2, there's more than one way to lose fat. Ever heard of someone say that you have to eat clean and avoid sugar and eliminate all carbs? They're just trying to sell you on their approach, but it's not a requirement. Truthfully, you just need to find what works for you. Maybe you'll enjoy a carnivore diet, or maybe you'll enjoy cooking all your meals. Maybe you just want the easiest, most convenient approach to losing fat and you don't really care about anything else. As long as what you choose to do is still built on the foundation of a calorie deficit, you're golden. Don't fall victim to the "you have to do it this way or you'll fail" propaganda. For those of you who have struggled with belly fat for years, I have tip number 3, and that's convenience unlocks permanent results. The reason so many people are overweight is because of convenience. I mean, if you think about it, fast food, snacks, takeout, they're all quick, easy, and everywhere. Unfortunately, most convenient options are also high fat, high carb, and ultimately high calorie. So what is the solution? The solution is to find low calorie, high protein alternatives for each of those scenarios. Subway, Chick-fil-A, Jersey Mike's, Panera, Panda Express, and other chains each have options that'll help you with your goals. For snacks, you can stock up on protein chips, Greek yogurt, jerky, cottage cheese, protein bars, whatever suits your preferences. And at restaurants, get a lean meat like chicken, steak, or seafood, veggies on the side, and go light on the sauces. And just get a 0-calorie drink. When you have easy options available to you in every situation imaginable, fat loss gets a lot easier. This is exactly how so many of my clients have been able to lose weight even when they previously thought they were too busy to do so. It becomes almost automatic, like fat loss is happening on autopilot because the system is built around their actual busy life. If you take Will, for example, he came to me at 42 years old, weighing 300 pounds, and he's been obese his entire adult life, so for over 20 years. As a sales consultant, he was eating 15 meals per week at restaurants due to the number of client meetings he always had. Now, most people would hear that and say, well, there's no hope for that guy, but it's actually a common scenario for us. Will signed up and he let me build him a full plan around these frequent restaurant visits. And after 12 months, he lost 80 pounds. So if you're a busy professional, entrepreneur, or executive struggling with belly fat, even if it's been for decades, click the first link in the description, apply to work with me directly, just like Will and 800 men and women have done already. We'll create a plan that fits your life, saves you time, and accelerates your results starting today. Moving on to tip number 4, set real expectations. If you go into this expecting to be 100% perfect, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Perfection isn't the goal. You will miss workouts, have weekends where you overeat, and lose motivation some days. It's completely normal. The only way you actually fail is if you quit. So instead of chasing perfection, understand it's just part of the game. It's inevitable. Next is tip number 5, the 10-to-1 food rule. This one rule makes it easy to identify helpful fat loss foods from harmful fat loss foods, and learning it will turn you into a grocery shopping pro. Here's how it works. For every 100 calories, aim for 10 grams of protein. That's it. This applies to drinks, snacks, meals, everything. This rule alone will boost your chances of being in a deficit, even if you're not tracking calories, because the amount of protein you'll be eating will be keeping you full. And if you didn't know this already, protein has a higher thermogenic effect, meaning more of it is burned through digestion alone. To show you how powerful this really is, let's say you consumed 1,000 calories of fat, 1,000 calories of carbs, and 1,000 calories of protein. Fat has a thermogenic effect of around 3%, carbs is around 7%, and protein can be as much as 30%. From digesting 1,000 calories of fat, your body will have burned around 30 calories. From 1,000 calories of carbs, it'll have burned around 70 calories. But 1,000 calories of protein will have burned up to 300 calories just from digestion. It is so much easier to maintain a calorie deficit just by building your diet around protein, because you're not only more full from it, but you're burning more calories just by eating it. So follow the 10-to-1 rule and everything will change for you. Tip number 6, mastering fast food hacks. If you're as busy as you say you are, eating out is practically inevitable. Most people absolutely wreck their progress when they're eating out, but if you know what you're doing, then restaurants and fast food simply become a convenient tool for you, and it's gonna make fat loss easier. Let's use Chipotle as an example. A typical Chipotle bowl is around 1,200 calories and 60 grams of protein, which, if we're sticking to the 10-to-1 rule, it's only half the protein you'd want to get from 1,200 calories. But if you tweak your order and you do double chicken, black beans, veggies, salsa, and just go light on the cheese, you'll get 800 calories and 80 grams of protein. That's fewer calories, more protein, and still easy as hell. And you can make this work at almost every fast food spot. You just need to think in terms of low calorie, high protein, getting you to that golden 10-to-1 rule. For tip number 7, we have grocery hacks. This is another one of those things where people either screw themselves because they don't know what to buy, or they set themselves up for inevitable success because they know what they're doing. Dieting and trying to lose weight doesn't mean you have to give up all the food that tastes good. You just need to be smart about it. If you like chips instead of Doritos, get the nacho cheese Quest chips. You're gonna have fewer calories and more protein. If you like yogurt instead of Yoplait, which most people buy, get the Oikos 000, which again, lower calorie, higher protein. All you need to do when you're at the store is read the nutrition labels and stick to foods that follow this 10-to-1 rule. I've seen high protein mac and cheese, low calorie chicken tenders, high protein pizzas, ice cream, protein cereals. We truly live in a crazy time where you can eat foods that are traditionally awful for fat loss, but available to you now in high protein, low calorie form. Do you see how much easier it can become to lose fat when all these things are still available to you? Because at this point, it doesn't feel like you're giving anything up. You're not missing out on anything. I'm telling you, building your diet around convenience is one of the easiest ways to achieve long-term fat loss. But that's enough on the dietary side of things for now, because tip number 8 is to prioritize lifting over cardio. Cardio is great for overall health, but it's not great for losing body fat. I want you to remember that your body is an adaptation machine. If cardio is the approach you use to lose weight, your body will adjust accordingly to make cardio easier and easier. One of the ways it does this is by getting rid of your muscle mass. Honestly, cardio doesn't require much strength rather than stamina and endurance. If your goal is to run long distances and decrease the time it takes to run a mile, sure, stick to cardio. But if your goal is to lose body fat and get closer to that aesthetic, toned body, then strength training is a must for you. And proper strength training signals to your body to hang on to muscle. So it'll focus more on burning fat rather than your lean mass. This is what results in that leaner look. And I want to add that muscle is metabolically active. So the more you have, the more calories you burn at rest, meaning those who maintain their muscle mass while dieting will have a much easier time keeping the fat off because they built a body with a fast metabolism. And no, lifting's not going to make you bulky. It's a total myth and it doesn't even make sense. Strength training is the answer to looking athletic, shaped, more defined, and losing that puffy look in the process. So sure, go for a walk or hop on the bike if you enjoy it, but if you want to change how your body looks and performs, just start strength training. Sticking to the topic of working out, we have tip number 9, which is the fasted workout trap. I used to love training fasted because it made me feel clear-headed, lighter, and more focused, but then the afternoon crash would hit me pretty hard. The reason being, working out on an empty stomach causes your cortisol levels to spike pretty intensely, meaning if you work out in the morning on an empty stomach, you're likely to feel pretty tired and low energy around lunchtime. Instead, on the days you work out, you should get something small in before your lift. My personal preference is some fruit and a Greek yogurt. What you don't want to do here is eat something that takes a lot of time to digest because your body won't really have time to process it by the time you're ready to work out. And again, you can work out fasted if you prefer, but if you end up crashing later, it's probably the reason why. Now, for the days you don't have a workout scheduled, consider tip number 10, which is to take advantage of caffeine. Caffeine is a proven appetite suppressant, and it's a super simple fat loss trick nobody seems to talk about. Instead of diving straight into breakfast, start your day with a black coffee or a 0-calorie energy drink and push your first meal back by a few hours. This alone can help you naturally eat fewer calories without even trying. But there's one caveat most people miss. You should really wait 60 to 90 minutes after waking up before you have any caffeine. It just gives your body a chance to regulate itself. If you're drinking coffee or cracking an energy drink open the second you open your eyes, you'll be artificially raising your cortisol levels, leading again to an afternoon crash. So rather than injecting caffeine right as you wake up, get out of bed, drink some electrolytes, and wait at least an hour before getting it into your system. Now, tip number 11 is something almost every busy professional struggles with, and it's a high-quality sleep routine. Poor sleep makes fat loss 10 times harder. Most people overlook it completely, but if your sleep is trash, your fat loss journey becomes a constant uphill battle. Here's what happens when you don't have enough sleep. Your cravings go up. Your willpower drops, meaning you're more likely to give in to those cravings. Your hormones get thrown off, meaning you're not only going to give in to those cravings, but when you do, you're more likely to eat a larger amount. And lastly, poor sleep means a slower metabolism. So on top of all of that, you'll be burning fewer calories too. If you put all those things together, you have the perfect storm for gaining weight rather than losing it. The good news is, even if you struggled with sleep for years, you can flip this in just a few days with the right routine in place. So here's what I want you to do. First, go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on the weekends. This is going to help you fix your circadian rhythm, making it so you can fall asleep in seconds and wake up without feeling tired. Next, try to stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. You want to put your body in a state of restfulness before bed. If you're consuming calories, your body will have to focus on digestion rather than sleep. This is going to raise your heart rate and disrupt your deep sleep. It can even leave you feeling a bit bloated in the following mornings. And the last tip I have for boosting your sleep quality is fixing your light environment. Light is what our brain uses to determine whether we should be awake or be asleep. And blue light specifically is only naturally available during the daytime hours. So if you're sitting on the couch watching TV before bed, the blue light emitting from the TV will disrupt your body's signals, making it believe it's daytime when you really should be getting ready for bed. But even I like to wind down at night by watching a show with my fiance. All you need to do is wear a pair of tinted blue light blockers, not the ones with clear lenses, because they won't work. If you get yourself a pair that look like this, I promise you, they will significantly reduce the strain on your eyes at night and make it easier to fall asleep. Remember, this isn't just about feeling rested, it's about making every other fat loss habit easier. Because when you sleep better, you feel better, and when you feel better, you'll eat better. And when you eat better, you'll have an easier time losing the belly. The next tip is something I wish I could ingrain in everyone's mind. And it's tip number 12, don't measure in the minors. I've heard hundreds, if not thousands of stories of people doing everything they've seen online in an attempt to lose the fat, only to come up short and frustrated and honestly pissed off. I'm talking about things like only eating organic, 100% natural whole foods, while intermittent fasting, while avoiding seed oils, while taking a shot of apple cider vinegar every morning, while doing this trendy incline walk thing. But even after all of that, they've either lost no weight or the results just aren't worth the effort. And it's all because none of those things are fundamental and none of them are directly related to a loss of body fat. I hate to iterate this again, but if you could do every one of those crazy things I just mentioned above for an eternity, but if you were still eating too many calories, you'd be the exact same weight you are today, if not heavier. Some of those things can be great for your general health, but they are not what are going to get you the results you're looking for. Don't major in the minors. Don't add in a bunch of irrelevant, small stuff for you to do if you're not even doing the basics yet. The goal is to remove friction, not add it. We have tip number 13 to take weekly waist measurements. I have personally saved thousands of people from quitting their weight loss journeys because of this one thing. When we're dieting and lifting weights and eating more protein than our body is used to, the amount of water that our body holds fluctuates like crazy. You may have even had a time where you weighed something like 200 pounds one day and woke up the very next weighing 205. Sometimes that happens even when you did everything right the day before. Guess what? You didn't gain 5 pounds of fat. You may have even lost some fat, but the amount of water in your body just changed. But that situation right there causes so many people to give up completely because they just didn't know it was water. Nothing is wrong with holding more water, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It happens to everyone. But I say all of this because taking a weekly waist measurement can save you from making this mistake where you give up because the scale went up due to water. 1 inch off your waist generally correlates to around 3 or 4 pounds of fat loss, even if the scale is telling you a different story. To be honest with you, one of the women we worked with lost 5 inches on her waist, but was only down about 4 pounds on the scale after 8 weeks. At first, she looked at the scale and was kind of disappointed, but when she saw how much her body was changing, how much better her clothes were fitting, and how much fat she lost, she literally couldn't have been happier. Do yourself a favor and measure your waist every 1 to 2 weeks. It may stop you from giving up altogether. Now, for my final tip, I want to address the truth about your genetics and what they actually mean for your belly fat. Bring me to tip number 14, genetics do play a role. Now, before you go thinking there's no hope for you, let me explain. Your genes determine the locations in which you store and lose fat first. When you start dieting, some of you may notice your back, thighs, and butt tightening up. Others may see it first in their chest, arms, and neck area. You really have no control over it. But what I can say confidently and with full certainty is when you do the right things for long enough, it doesn't matter what your genetic makeup is, you will lose the belly fat. Your genetics just control where the fat leaves first, but you control whether or not it leaves at all. So be patient, stay consistent, and make sure you're following a system you can stick to forever. That's how you're gonna do it. Now you have 9 years of advice to start losing your belly fat today, as long as you actually take action. If you're interested in speeding up the process and creating a system that actually works around you and your busy schedule, click the link in the description to apply to work with me one-on-one. I've already helped hundreds of professionals, entrepreneurs, and executives lose belly fat long-term. People like Ryan, Lindsay, John, Jessica, Matt, and more. Thank you very much for watching.